Robbie Gould ready to kick off for Chicago. Atlanta will get the ball, and that is Eric Weems to run it back. Each of these teams with very good special teams, and that might make the difference tonight. Gould comes forward, and away we go from Atlanta. Weems a yard in to the outside and spun out of bounds at the 29-yard line by Garrett Wolfe. And that's where Matt Ryan will go to work as we take a look at the Atlanta offense.
Matt Ryan, Boston College.
Michael Turner, Northern Illinois.
Jason Snelling, University of Virginia.
Roddy White, Alabama, Birmingham.
Michael Jenkins, The Ohio State University.
I'm Tony Gonzalez, University of California.
Sam Baker, Southern California.
Justin Blaylock, Texas at Austin.
Todd McClure, LSU.
Harvey Dahl, Nevada.
Tyson Clabo, Wake Forest.
And Ryan going up top on first down and incomplete. It'll be 2nd down and 10 as he looked for Gonzalez. And when Ryan throws on the first pass of the game, Chris, you go back to last year, his first ever pass in the National Football League, complete for a touchdown.
Yeah, what did he tell Mike Mularkey, his offensive coordinator? He said, now don't expect a lot early. I'm a slow starter. First one out of the gate for a touchdown.
Hit Michael Jenkins in the opener of the 08 season. On 2nd down and 10. Turner, who came over from San Diego last year, to the 30, gain of 1, 3rd and 9. Here is the Chicago D.
Adewale Ogunleye, Indiana.
Tommy Harris, the University of Oklahoma.
Marcus Harrison, Arkansas.
Alex Brown, University of Florida.
Pisa Tino Isamoah, Hawaii.
Nick Roach, Northwestern.
Lance Briggs, Desert Swarm, Arizona.
Charles Tillman, the University of Louisiana.
Al Hafalava, Oregon State Beavers.
Danielle Manning, Abilene Christian.
Zach Bowman, Nebraska.
And Lovie Smith, the head coach, this year calling the defensive signals for the first time, and that is batted at the line of scrimmage. It's Alex Brown, number 96, coming in from his right end spot to get a hand on it and force a 3-and-out punt.
All up here, they're going to bring heavy pressure, and Lance Briggs right off the edge here is going to get his hands up in the air. Matt Ryan, the one thing he has done exceptionally well is not take sacks, and he's also handled the blitz very well. Well, Lovey's going to find out how well he handles this Bears blitz.
Michael Kanan to do the punting, one of the very best in the league, and he booms this one to the 19-yard line where it's juggled by Hester. He collects it, and Devin Hester is able to break through, and then he starts to stumble, and he's stopped just shy of the 40-yard line. Look for a second as if he might break it all the way.
I thought Devin Hester was gone, didn't you, Al? It looked like he had the corner. He bobbles it a little bit early on. Those pink gloves just did him wrong there. But he started to turn, and there was an open space, and somebody just gets a fingernail on him and trips him up, or it's just between him and the punter at that point. Whew, that was close.
Now to the 38, and Hester stays in. Wide to the left. I don't know who their number 1 receiver is these days. There's a mix and match, but Hester could eventually ascend to that spot. They put Olsen in the slot, and the pass to the outside is caught by Hester, who spins out of a tackle and takes it up for a gain of 9. Let's take a look at the Chicago starters.
Jay Cutler, Vanderbilt University.
Matt Forte, Tulane University.
Earl Bennett, Vanderbilt.
Devin Hester, the U.
Greg Olson, the U. Dez Clark, Kathleen High School.
Orlando Pace, The Ohio State University.
Franco Miel, Tennessee Tech.
Olin Cruz, Washington.
Roberto Garza, Texas A&M Kingsville.
Chris Williams, Vanderbilt University.
One of 5 Vanderbilt Commodores on the Chicago roster, including Cutler, who's back to pass on 2nd and 1. Sets up a screen for McKee, but that is read beautifully by John Abraham. Had the coverage on the fullback coming out of the backfield and stops him from no gain. 3rd and 1.
So many teams slide their protection to John Abraham. Often they'll drop him back in coverage as they do here. They bring the blitz to the strong side and they drop Abraham back. But he has the ability to come up and make plays in the passing game as well, and it really creates issues for your protections.
Now the crowd already rising as one on Chicago's first series, exhorting their defense to stop him, and Cutler will throw and pick up the first down as he goes to his tight end. That's Greg Olsen. The Cutler story is well known. In Denver, looked like he'd be their quarterback for years. Looked like Mike Shanahan would never get fired. Instead, Shanahan gets fired. They bring in Josh McDaniels. McDaniels wants to make a trade for Matt Castle. Cutler gets his nose out of joint, demands a trade, and gets one to Chicago. First down at the 48-yard line. And Forte will take it to the 44 as we take a look at the Atlanta D.
Troy Bierman, University of Montana.
Jamal Anderson, Arkansas. Jonathan Babineau, Iowa. John Abraham, South Carolina.
Stephen Nicholas, University of South Florida.
Curtis Lofton, Oklahoma.
Mike Peterson, University of Florida.
Brent Grimes, Shippensburg University.
Eric Coleman, Washington State.
Thomas Deku, the University of California.
Brian Williams, North Carolina State.
Three tight now. Olsen sets up as the fullback with Bennett wide, and they give it to Forte, who had a brilliant rookie season. And Matt takes it to the 43-yard line. He is stopped there by Stephen Nicholas. It'll be 3rd down and 5 for Chicago.
Kind of interesting seeing the Bears put their tight end Greg Olsen in the backfield as a blocking back. He really wasn't very good last week in this position, but he comes out with a pretty good block on this first one. You see 82 right there, and that's getting it done from the fullback position. And boy, that gives you a lot of options in the passing game if he can play fullback.
Now 3 wide on 3rd down and 5. 4 minutes into the game. And Cutler will swing it to the outside, and he connects with his one-time college teammate Earl Bennett. Cutler was a senior when Bennett was a freshman at Vanderbilt. Brian Williams with the coverage on the play, and again Cutler able to convert on 3rd down.
Yeah, you'll see it right here, just a little simple out, and the Bears really feel like if they have an advantage this game, it's when the Falcons try to go man-to-man coverage against their receivers. They think they're quicker on the outside, and there's a key matchup on the other side. Orlando Pace, and look at the job he did on John Abraham.
Cutler is 4 of 4 from the 36 on 1st down. And Jay quickly to Hester, and that's another 1st down as Hester takes it to the 22. And Chris, I'm talking about Hester, and you don't know right now who is number one. You've got Hester, you got the emerging rookie Johnny Knox, you got Earl Bennett, you've got Olsen who can catch, you got Desmond Clark. He has a lot of choices.
Well, and that's really what's been working for Jay Cutler, because he has 5 receivers coming into this game with at least 10 catches, and defensively, what do? And the guy that really hasn't even gotten started yet is Greg Olsen.
And Forte can also catch the ball. He has 13 receptions. Here he runs, works his way around the outside, and is taken out of bounds at the 20-yard line.
It looked like John Abraham that time had a shot at Matt Forte off the edge. Comes down hard, but that's what we've seen out of Forte here lately. A little more patience at the point of attack. He has a great lateral step. He doesn't turn his shoulders to break to the outside. And he has just slowed himself down a little bit over the last several games. I think he was a little frustrated in those first few.
Had a big day against Detroit 2 weeks ago. Over 100 yards, but almost all of the yardage on 2 long runs. 2nd down and 7. And Cutler this time connects again to Earl Bennett. So he's been on target on every pass. He is 6 for 6 for 38 yards and another 3rd down, 3rd and 1.
Remember when Lovie Smith was telling us that the Chicago Bears are a running team? I think he lied. Well, they have 1 or 2 runs so far in this one. They are coming out. They have their man Jay Cutler in perfect weather conditions in this dome, and they are letting him go.
Deception and subterfuge are part of the game. 3rd down and 1. And Cutler's going to take it himself over right guard and pick up the 1st down.
Well, they go on a quick count. You can see Jay kind of laughing a little bit They jump on him early. Garza comes down, and they end up stunning away from him. It was almost a gift there. Sometimes the nose tackle just has to pick a side in that situation, and that time he picked wrong.
Garza, former Falcon, spent 4 years with Atlanta, now in his 9th season in the league overall. 1st and 10 at the 13-yard line. Forte tries the right side, and this time he gets taken down at the line of scrimmage. Eric Coleman, the safety, with a stop. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Well, they're playing games here. They're trying to make this look like a 2 deep back here, but right at the last minute, you'll see Eric Coleman come up and make this play. I think Jay Cutler actually checked to a run play, seeing the 2 deep safeties, but that time it was the Falcons who won.
12th play of the drive coming up. They've eaten up 6.5 minutes. And Cutler takes a look at the defense and takes a timeout with 7:12 to go in the opening quarter. Chicago and Atlanta, no score. The Georgia Aquarium with a salute to their Falcons. 3-1 record after an 11-5 2008. 2nd down and 9. They split Olsen to the left. Cutler throwing a fade to the right side, and it's off the fingertips of Hester, trying to do a toe dance to stay inbounds. Incomplete. Brent Grimes covering on the play. 3rd and 9.
Kind of an interesting decision for the Falcons. They've decided to start Brent Grimes, who is not as good a cover guy as Chris Houston, but he is a better run player. And I think the feeling was they needed his size on the outside, so I would imagine you're going to see the Bears picking on Grimes as much as they can tonight.
3rd and 9. That's Cutler's first incomplete pass. Chicago 3 of 3 on 3rd down. Cutler backing up, throwing, and that one's picked off at the 10-yard line. Thomas Deku with the interception. And so a drive that consumes almost 7 minutes ends with a pick on the 14th play. Atlanta with the ball. Andrew Kramer texting from the sidelines as well. So after the pick from the 14-yard line on 1st down, here is Turner, 2nd and 9, and back we go to the interception.
I'm really surprised Jay Cutler threw his 3rd pick in the red zone here. You're going to see they're going to have a chaser right here on Greg Olsen, but this is quarters coverage. Everybody has 1 quarter of the field. So when this guy comes across the field and Olsen swings up here, he's freed to come up and make the interception. A lot of lines on there, but watch that safety. He basically has nobody to cover, which makes him a free roamer in there and led to an easy interception.
No wonder he couldn't complete it.
There's too many lines on there. You couldn't see him.
What an obstacle course. 2nd and 9. Norwood is the back, and they swing it out to him. Darius Norwood up to the 19-yard line. Jay Cutler now, as Chris mentioned, that's 3 picks in the red zone already this year. He threw 4 at Denver last year. And there it is, more than twice as many as any other quarterback in the league over the last 2 years. That has been the bane of his existence, getting inside the opponent's 20 and then throwing an interception.
Well, you understood it in Denver because they went through about 7 running backs there last year. So they put Jay in the shotgun and said, hey, go get him. But here, with the way they can run the football, you would have thought those numbers would have improved.
Ryan out of the shotgun, throws, caught, but shy of a 1st down. He's able to hit Jenkins, but Jenkins gets taken down by Zach Bowman, stopping him at the 23-yard line and forcing an Atlanta punt again.
Well, since Lovie Smith has taken over as the defensive coordinators, we see this all the time here, hugging up right next to either side on the center. That's time they looped to the outside, got rid of it quickly, but not enough to pick up the 1st down. Lovie is really bringing the pressure since he's taken over.
Kanan to punt, Hester to return the kick. Atlanta with its 2nd 3 and out. And it's a short kick, and Hester will call for a fair catch at the 37-yard line. 5:02 left in the opening quarter. In Atlanta, no score. Now Chicago from the 37-yard line. First down. Cutler. Pressured. Extends the play as he does so well, and then throws deep and incomplete. He tried to hit Johnny Knox, the rookie out of Abilene Christian, who's already made a big splash. Chris Houston, the number 2 draft choice in 07 by the Falcons, with the coverage.
Well, this time it's Croy Bierman working on Orlando Pace on the outside, and he almost gets there. But this is what's so frustrating about Jay Cutler. I mean, that was a tremendous pass rush, but he escapes again. And this is the one thing the Falcons thought they could come up with some interceptions. They say Jay Cutler thinks he can fit it into the smallest of spots 40 yards down the field. We have to get a few of those.
2nd and 10. Matt Forte, minimal gain, and a flag is thrown.
Hold it.
First penalty of the game.
Number 68. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
So Terry McCauley weighs in for the first time tonight. The former Falcon, Frank Omayal, with the hold.
Well, this has started off a little differently for Chicago. I'm sure they would like to get to their running game and start to get something established. The last time these two teams got together, and there's Mike Smith, you saw both teams essentially saying, we're going to make the quarterback beat us. They were taking away the run, 8-man fronts, run blitzing, attacking these guys, and putting the ball in the hands of the quarterback. And so far, a lot like that tonight.
2nd down and 20 from the 27-yard line. Rush 4 and do a good job in protection, and then Forte will take the ball up to the 35-yard line. That's a gain of 8. It'll be 3rd down and 12 for Chicago.
Jay Cutler just trying to make it a little more manageable down and distance there, but Curtis Lofton, the middle linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons, came up with a nice play there. They are really excited about what he's been doing inside. Used to be a 2-down linebacker, worked hard in the offseason, and now never comes off the field.
2nd-round pick out of Oklahoma. And the snap was made as Lawrence Sidbury came across the line.
Defense, number 90, elevator to the quarterback. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
So Cruz trying to get a free play in if he could, knowing that Sudbury was offside. That'll make it 3rd down and 7.
Old veteran center up there. He saw him jump and he said, to heck with this. I've got 5 yards on my own. Put it down in my stats. A little more manageable. They hit the screen. Now they're down to 3rd and 7. Nolan's looking up on the jumbotron to see if we're showing him.
Third down and 7 from the 40-yard line. Cutler, short drop, and then the pass is caught. Knox will make the catch, but he will be stopped a yard shy or less of a first down on the tackle by Brent Grimes.
This is why 3rd and long is so tough, because you can blitz and essentially make them throw hot here as it comes off the right side. Jay Cutler has no choice but to throw that one hot, and they're able to make the tackle short of the first down. 3rd and 7 seems to be the cutoff for most teams. Then they're going to blitz, force that hot throw, and try and make a tackle. Work for the Falcons there.
So they got 6.5 and needed 7, and Maynard will come in to punt. Eric Weems, who runs back kickoffs and punts, sets at the 10-yard line. Weems will let it go, and the ball will roll to a halt at the 16-yard line. Atlanta still looking for its first down when the Falcons come back on the field. 0-0. Matt Ryan, and whether he wanted to or not, played the role of savior last year. This franchise in flux. As I said at the top, bordering on disarray. They picked him in the first round, 3rd overall choice out of Boston College, and started in game 1 and took every snap last year with Justin Peele, the tight end, making the catch. And you know, Chris, when you look at a guy like Ryan, not only did he come in and he had to be the savior sooner or later on the field, but with the Michael Vick situation and what happened to him and all the investment they had in Vick, you needed a quarterback who also was going to be a guy who could be embraced by the community as well.
No doubt about it, but Mike Vick was loved here in Atlanta, and people paid big money to come see him play, so there was tremendous pressure on Matt Ryan.
2nd and 7. Turner runs into a bottleneck and gets taken down behind the line of scrimmage, setting up a 3rd and long. First guy that hits him is Marcus Harrison. And so again, the Falcons had a choice early in the first round, looked at everybody, and they did their homework on him.
Yeah, but they also said that when they met him at the combine, he was so nervous. His lip was quivering. They go, this is the guy that we're going to basically build our entire franchise around. But obviously the second time around when they met him, he was much calmer, totally under control when they went to BC, and they obviously made the right choice.
Didn't remind him of Bobby Lane at the outset. 3rd and 10, and that pass is incomplete. Jenkins was there, seemed to have found an open spot, but the pass is incomplete. And the Atlanta Falcons right now have run 9 plays and don't have a first down.
And they're completely out of their game right now, Al. They're not getting their running game going. They're relying on the passing game. They can't get their bootleg going. And you see Matt just struggling to try and find a receiver. So far, this Bears defense has just been dominant.
This will be Canaan's 3rd punt, and this is a booming kick. Hester still going back. Takes it at the 24-yard line. Hester into Falcon territory. And Devin, a thrill a minute in his first couple of years in the league, takes it to the 45-yard line. 61-yard boot, 32-yard run back. Rod Marinelli, who was the head coach of the Lions last year, now is in charge of the defensive line, going over things with his group on the sideline. And Cutler will throw off a play fake and hits Bennett at the 25-yard line, and a first down to Atlanta's 23.
Well, the Falcons are coming with all kinds of blitzes here early on. They're going to bring a lot of pressure, but they don't get there. It's one of the dangers. Anytime you bring this kind of pressure, you have to try and get to that quarterback. Otherwise, these corners back in the back end for the Falcons are really not good enough to play man coverage all over the field. That was about a 4-second route that Bennett ended up running there, and that's too much for these corners.
Chicago has outgained Atlanta 85 yards to 10 as the first quarter ends. No score. NBC's Sunday Night Football from Atlanta continues after these messages. One headline tomorrow will say Coach Smith wins. Last year, a classic matchup here. Almost exactly a year ago, the Bears and the Falcons on October 12th, and Rasheed Davis gave Chicago the lead. But then, with just 1 second to play, Michael Jenkins makes the catch, goes out of bounds, and Jason Elam kicks a 48-yard field goal. Falcons win. And Chris, not that one team goes to the playoffs or doesn't go to the playoffs predicated upon one game, but Atlanta did go to the playoffs, and Chicago missed going to the playoffs by one game.
And I don't think Chicago's ever quite gotten over that one. They could remember it vividly when we talked to their players.
From the 23 on first down, Cutler to the end zone, and it is Johnny Knox who is there, and he held it long enough for the touchdown. The Falcons contending he juggled it and didn't have control. The ball came loose. The question is, did he have both feet down and possession? Chris Houston with the coverage. Here it is.
This is close. Chris Houston in the game to cover the speedster. And you certainly couldn't tell anything from that angle. We'll get a better look here. 1, 2. I think 1,
he has both
2.
hands. He has possession, and then the ball comes out.
I think it's a pretty good call.
I do too. And just before the extra point, well, they don't challenge because I think Mike Smith saw the same thing we saw. They weren't going to win the challenge. Knox with the touchdown. Gold with the extra point. 7-zip Chicago. Johnny Knox, 5th-round draft choice out of Abilene Christian. As we go back to the touchdown, and he had possession with both feet down.
Well, you're going to see exactly what happens. They come on a blitz this side, and the safety's going to rotate over. So what looks like Chris Houston has some help on the outside, in reality he doesn't. It's a great read by Jay Cutler, finds his speedster one-on-one on the outside, and Chris Houston gets there, but gets there late. And for Johnny Knox, what a run that kid is on right now.
He was the extra guy. I mean, when Cutler comes to Chicago and Orton goes the other way, and Denver also has to send a draft choice, which you think they wouldn't have had to do, but they throw in a 5th, and that 5th turns out to be Knox. Here's Weems from the goal line. Up to the 24-yard line. And now Ryan will come out, and again, Atlanta still looking for its first down of the night. They don't sack him very much. That's the fewest among active quarterbacks in the first 20 games, less than once a game. And when you send 5 or more at him, this season his pass rating almost 130, which is the best in the league.
But it's gone down tonight.
It has.
The Bears have blitzed and gotten there.
3 out of 6 is Ryan for 11 yards. And here's Jarius Norwood. And, you know, you think about Johnny Knox, and it is so funny. I mean, the trade to get Cutler, Chicago is willing to send Orton and a bunch of draft choices, a couple of number 1s, and then somehow at the end of the deal, you get a number 5, and it turns out to be somebody like Knox. And a whistle by Terry McCauley before the inception of the play here. Alex Brown jumping across the line of scrimmage.
Offside, defense, number 96. 5-yard penalty, 2nd down.
But so far, Chris, when you look at that trade, that's turned out pretty well for both teams. Denver's undefeated.
Yeah, we had a chance to visit with Johnny Knox, a nice young man. It was interesting. Of course, he's known for his speed, ran about 4.35 at the combine, and yet he wasn't even the fastest guy in his high school. He said he couldn't even get in the open 100 meters. They just put him on the relays. It's kind of a throwaway.
And Lovie Smith calling the Abilene coach with another flag thrown here as Payne comes away with the ball.
10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Got a hold here, I think on Norwood. But Lovie was calling the coach to thank him not only for Johnny Knox but for Danielle Manning as well.
What are the odds that you would get 2 athletes like that out of one small school? And Lovie was saying that he thinks Danielle Manning may be the best athlete he has on the entire football team.
Yeah, that was surprising to hear, but Manning is their safety and a guy who last year had the best kickoff return average in the league.
And maybe losing that job too.
To Knox.
Yeah.
Who ran one back against Detroit 102 yards. 2nd and 11. And that pass is caught as he finds the tight end Tony Gonzalez up at the 32-yard line, a little shy of the first down.
Well, here's one of the things you can do with Tony Gonzalez is split him out and let him make some plays. He's such a big body. Remember, a former basketball player, actually played in the Sweet 16. And he's not going to run by people, but he has such great hands. He can extend, get that rebound position, and just make plays. I mean, this guy now, 60 catches for 10 straight years, surefire, first ballot Hall of Famer, no question about it. And he has added so much to this Falcons offense. They really didn't get the ball to the tight end very much at all last year.
Gave him a very good spot on the play, and a first down up at the 33-yard line. Turner runs into a wall, and the ball is loose, and it's Ryan there to cover it up. Turner ran into a cement wall. Tino Isamoa was on that side, and the ball came loose, and Ryan alertly recovers for Atlanta.
Well, welcome back piece of Tino Isamoa. He's going to come right off of this edge right here. And it looks like he is just going to get caught up in the wash, and I don't think Michael Turner ever saw him. That is some shot. Remember, Tino Isamoa played for Lovie in St. Louis when he was a defensive coordinator there, and you talk about a form tackle, about knock Michael Turner out.
That's Turner's 4th fumble in the last 4 games. So that's become an issue right now. And that was almost an issue with an interception as Danielle Manning was there.
Boy, Nick Roach with a great play going against one of the tremendous tight ends in the game. Watch how athletic this guy is, running right down the middle of the field here to cover Gonzalez. I think I've got the right one. There you go. They really like what he's doing. Remember, he is the 3rd middle linebacker they've had this season. They've already lost Urlacher. They lost Hunter Hillenmeyer. And this guy has simply come in, Nick Roach, made all the calls, makes all the adjustments out there. They are thrilled with what he's done on this defense.
3rd year out of Northwestern, picked them up from the Chargers. On 3rd and 16, going deep but too deep, and it's 4th down. Michael Jenkins was bracketed on the play, and Ryan has begun the evening 4 of 9 for 22 yards.
Yeah, and for Lovie Smith, that time he got pressure without having to blitz, and that does not bode well for Matt Ryan. So they have gone blitz, 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 and then on that big play, they decided to try and get there with 4, and they do force him to throw it away more quickly than he wanted.
Canaan's 4th punt in a game that's not even 18 minutes old. Hester back. His last run back was 32 yards. This time he calls for the fair catch at the 28-yard line. Cutler and company going back to work at that spot. 12:09 left in the half. 7-0 Bears. 2 years ago, Mike Smith is kind of an anonymous assistant, even though he's a coordinator. He's at Jacksonville. He's the defensive coordinator for Jack Del Rio. 50 years old. He's a native of South Florida, and he's the brother-in-law of former Ravens coach Brian Billick. He was a college assistant for 17 years. Then Brian brought him to Baltimore in '99. He goes to Jacksonville with Del Rio, and then he is 1,000 to 1 to get this job at the end of the 2007 season. But he gets recommended by Joe DeCamillis, who had been the special teams coach here, is now in Dallas. He called the Falcons and he says, you know what, I work with this guy, you have to look at him.
His only interview, and he got the job.
Only interview, only time he's been a head coach in his life. Here's Hester on the end around. And Hester picks up about 6. Let's go to Andrea.
Yeah, and just to add to that story, it was back at San Diego State when the wide receiver tight end coach was Brian Billick that he said to the graduate assistant Mike Smith, hey, my wife's sister's visiting, would you mind taking her out? Here, I'll give you $50. Well, Mike Smith denies ever taking any money from him, but 2 years later they got married. As you mentioned, Al, Billick goes to Baltimore, brings in Smith as his defensive quality control coach, and the rest is NFL history.
You know, Andrew, you could have a pretty good date for $50 back in '82. 2nd and 4. Oh, and Forte is able to bounce off Thomas Johnson, but in effect that ends that play.
That was some play by Thomas Johnson. He just simply comes off the block from right here and goes into the hole, and Matt Forte just said, what the heck is that? Come on, Frank Omiel, give me a block on him. A free runner on a play that hits that quickly is pretty rare.
3rd and 5. And they split Forte now to the left. Cutler out of the shotgun to Forte. And Forte picks up a block and gets to the 40-yard line, and that's Johnny Knox coming back with a block to spring him for a 1st down.
Nice call, Al. That's exactly what happened. They go to the quick screen on the outside, and Johnny Knox is going to come out here and get this kick-out block, and it's going to spring him for the 1st down. We've seen Johnny Knox catch touchdowns. We've seen him return kickoffs for touchdown, and, oh, by the way, he's not too bad a blocker either.
Cutler is 11 of 14 for 103 yards. Off the play fake. Deep over the middle. Picked off at the 30-yard line. Deku with his 2nd interception. Intended for Greg Olsen, overshoots him. And Thomas Deku with 2 picks tonight. Atlanta ball. Back under the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, where it's 7-0 Chicago. but Cutler has just thrown his second interception. Atlanta starts from the 45. Ryan out of the gun, a little toss to Norwood, who's averaged almost 6 yards a carry in his career, and he gets taken down after a gain of about 7 by Kevin Payne, the safety.
Yeah, you talked a little about Jarius Norwood. Here's a guy, you're exactly right, averaged 5.7 yards per carry. That's the highest in NFL history for a non-quarterback. He doesn't have enough carries yet to hold that record, but he is a guy that is just so explosive, so fast, that when he's given a chance to come in the game, his speed just startles people.
He's a change of pace guy, and Atlanta now with a change of pace as they go no huddle. Turner is the back. A fake to him and then a give to him. A fake toss, and then Turner with a first down. He's tackled by the middle linebacker, Nick Roach. Nicely designed play.
Well, we're not used to seeing Tony Gonzalez as a lead back, but here you're going to see him come in here and kick out as a lead blocker. They sort of fake a wide play, and Gonzalez comes back inside, and that looks more like the Falcons.
And the Falcons now with Roddy White getting into the action, coming off a career day in San Francisco and in for the touchdown. Ryan had not even looked White's way once tonight.
The Bears completely screw this up. 3 receivers over here, only 2 guys to defend on this side of the ball. Basically, you got 2 lead blockers out in front of the wide receiver. They've got no chance. Had to be a completely blown coverage.
Papalava and Roach each missing tackles. The extra point by Elam is good. Roddy White, 210 receiving yards last week. At 55 here to tie the game.
Remember, we were talking about Nick Roach, now the signal caller. Well, that time they got him. That no huddle got him.
Cross signals.
Yep.
Johnny Knox, who had a 102-yard touchdown return against Detroit to break a 21-all halftime tie 2 weeks ago. And finds some room along the sideline. And Johnny Knox winning the starting job as the kickoff return man with a good run back here as we go back to the touchdown for Atlanta.
Atlanta comes out in an empty backfield, 5 wide receivers out. You can see the Bears are confused. They're trying to make their calls quickly here. And then Nick Roach right here in the middle is going to try and run underneath this thing. Well, there's no way with 7 there they can defend this play. And Roddy White just beats him to the spot. Just trying to get a little too fancy with that fake blitz.
Knox with a 30-yard return sets Chicago up at the 37-yard line. Cutler moving Desmond Clark to the left side, and Forte gets taken down, an ankle tackle there by Eric Coleman.
Well, for Jay Cutler, he may not want to play on Sunday Night Football anymore. 2 picks already tonight. There he is. The first one just misreads the coverage and makes a bad throw. And then the second one, this is just poorly thrown ball. Not that he couldn't have got that into Greg Olsen. He just overthrew it by about 5 yards. And Thomas Taku says thank you. He's got a pair of them.
First 2 of his young career in his second season out of Cal. Fake to Forte, pressure on, and then the pass underneath, and that's caught by Clark. But he is covered by Curtis Lofton. The backer staying right where the middle be 3rd down and 9.
And you know, Jay Cutler's not a guy to get shaken up or anything, but I guarantee you Ron Turner right now is saying, all right, Jay, let's settle down here. Let's get you a couple of completions. Let's get you going again. But now here you are in 3rd down and 9, and you're probably going to see the pressure.
You're right about Sunday night. He's thrown 6 of his 7 picks on Sunday night. 3rd and 9. Maybe he should set his alarm clock later. Halfway through the second quarter. Cutler stepping up, throwing on the run, and that's caught in Atlanta territory as Devin Hester hauls it in. They convert on 3rd and 9. Stephen Nicholas got into the backfield, and Deck Cutler as he released.
I'll tell you, this is one great battle between two great players on the outside, John Abraham and Orlando Pace, and that's about the 3rd time I've seen Orlando Pace with a pancake block against John Abraham. Abraham thought he would be able to use his speed against Orlando Pace, who really has not been moving very well earlier this season, but I think he looks great tonight.
A lot different than opening night in Green Bay. From the 46. Cutler, and he gets taken down by his jersey, Mike Peterson, the longtime Jaguar who played under Mike Smith when he was the defensive coordinator, picked up this year by the Falcons, got him by the shirt.
Well, they are firing some defensive coverage right now. There's Mike Peterson right there, is going to come on the blitz. He's a guy they picked up from Jacksonville. Basically, Jacksonville gave him away. He had a run-in with Jack Del Rio over flexing after a play that he made in a ball game, and those two middle linebackers went at it in a meeting, and Del Rio eventually let him go.
His brother Adrian plays for the Bears, but is inactive tonight. The other Adrian Peterson. Forte to the 46-yard line. He's tackled there by Thomas Johnson as we tick down to 6 minutes left in the half.
Yeah, have you ever seen two fighters that are just so evenly matched? This looks just like the game that we saw a season ago that came down to the last 10, 11 seconds. There are some teams, when you put them on the field, it just seems like it always comes down to the wire.
It does, and it's an interesting matchup, too, because these are two teams that don't face each other all that much. 3rd and 10. Crowd pumps up the volume, and Cutler says, I'll go to the bench for a second. Timeout Chicago. 5.5 left in the half. How about some of the action today? How about Oakland beating Philadelphia?
Yeah, I predicted that.
In what sport?
I cannot pick anything this season. You know, the NFL is just so crazy. The Buffalo Bills and the Jets and New England. It looked like Tom Brady today was all the way back. And, of course, Brett Favre, what a show he put on. Up there once again, another come from behind win.
And then, you know, go figure the NFL. That's why people love it. I mean, Tennessee is 13-3 last year. 0-6. A complete mess right now. Get killed in New England. Have a bye week, and who knows what's going to happen in Nashville the rest of the year.
Well, but I think Tom Brady is officially back.
Oh, yeah.
The snow kind of woke him up a little bit today.
3rd and 10 after the timeout. Cutler out of the shotgun. That's a low snap from Kreutz. And then off his back foot, he throws for Knox. And Knox is able to make the catch. Is he inbounds at the 12-yard line? And he is not. So Houston was there. Knox concentrating on it, but he was out of bounds as he hauls it in.
Well, once again, you get the blitz coming in here, and Johnny Knox is going to get Chris Houston one-on-one again, just like he did on the touchdown. That time unable to get his feet down. Remember, there is no force out anymore. You have to get both feet down. The defender can push you out. He can't carry you out, but he can push you out.
They took that out of the rule book this season. Maynard. Low kick. Fielded on the run at the 17-yard line. And that is Weems, and Weems has stepped out of bounds. He has stepped out of bounds at the 36, so this is all for show. And he can do whatever dance he wants to do or whatever, but it'll be first down at the 36-yard line.
What a play by Weems, though. A bit of a shanked punt, low line drive. He flies up there and makes the play. And he is going to make this cut here and step right on the white line. Good call by the officials. And I don't know why the guy on the Falcons line is pointing to where he stepped out.
Right. Maybe saying he's in.
Yeah, it could be. Maybe he shouldn't have worn those bright pink shoes. That really set it off. That was close, though. We've seen some punt returners tonight come awfully close to breaking it. No doubt on the call.
at the 36-yard line, first down. Norwood is the running back. The fake to him. And then the pass goes to Jason Snelling, the fullback, making the grab and taking the ball up to midfield.
Boy, we're seeing pretty exotic blitzes out here tonight. That time it's Kevin Payne's going to come up, and they simply don't pick up the fullback coming out of the backfield. You can see the hesitation on the end of the line of scrimmage. I think the end was supposed to peel off with him and just simply missed his man. A couple of assignment errors so far for the Bears here these last couple of drives.
From the 49-yard line. Toss to Norwood again. Norwood, fourth year out of Mississippi State, picked him in the 3rd round in 06.
And I think what you're seeing here, Al, is that the Bears are stacking the interior part of the running game so much that now the Falcons are answering with Jarius Norwood and taking advantage of that and getting him outside.
As they do there, and he stays in here. 2nd and 5. And they run Norwood this time through the middle, and he's able to back his way to almost a first down. It's going to be about a yard shy or less, 3rd down and short.
Boy, it's good to see Tommy Harris back and playing well again. Here he is with the penetration on the opposite side of that. Very nearly gets there.
And they go without a huddle right now, and it is Ryan taking the snap and sneaking for a first down.
This no huddle has really slowed down the Chicago Bears. We talked about the fact that Nick Roach came in there and is the 3rd signal caller basically for this defense. Mike Mularkey's offenses, they use a lot of formations, a lot of shifts, a lot of motions, and we've seen some tactical errors now on the part of the Bears. Nick Roach in there making the calls now. But it's much different when you're doing it against some no huddle.
Line of Brian Finneran as a fullback in the backfield is staying in the block, and the pass over the middle is caught by Norwood, and he takes that to the 32-yard line. Gain of 8. Down to 3 minutes we go. 2nd and 2 at the Chicago 32.
And Norwood looks like he got dinged a little bit on that one, and he'll come out, but Turner comes in and just steps right into his role. But what we're seeing now, the Bears have made some mistakes, so now they've gone to some very basic zone coverages, and Ryan's taking advantage of that too.
Empty backfield, 5 receivers here, 2nd down and 2. Here come the Bears. Pass is out into the left flat to Michael Turner, and Turner with a first down.
Did you see Matt Ryan that time with the double snap like a Peyton Manning would do? Well, what happened was he saw Danielle Manning coming on the blitz, took advantage and shot that thing out to the left flat where Danielle Manning came from. Matt Ryan's playing some quarterback right now.
At the 22, 1st and 10.
Here's the Mularkey shifts. They go from bunch right to bunch left.
And they send Jenkins in motion and put him in the slot on the right. Ryan protected, checks down underneath, and the ball is caught by Turner, and that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning. And 2nd and 4 when we come back to Atlanta. Game tied 7-7. 2 minutes to go. First 4 drives, 19 yards, and then they went to the no huddle, and it's made a huge difference. And on 2nd and short, this is Michael Turner trying to move the chains, and they'll spot the ball at the 12-yard line, close.
Well, I tell you, when you start to get some stuff going on the perimeter, it just opens things up inside. Time the Falcons faked a reverse to hold that backside defensive end, and it opened up a nice hole inside for Turner.
Cutler checking out the pictures. Meanwhile, Atlanta has a 3rd down and 1 from the 12. Falcons have all 3 timeouts, and they're going to use one right here. Take the clock down to 1:15. 3rd and 1 upcoming.
Well, you heard Tony Dungy in the pregame show saying that Matt Ryan reminded him of Peyton Manning. Here's what you're going to see. Right here we have Daniel Manning's going to loop around here and is going to show blitz over here, but the only reason he shows it is because Matt Ryan does this Peyton Manning double count. Check it out. So now he sees him, he knows he's coming, so why not? Daniel Manning's not dropping into coverage. I'm just going to take it, flip it out to a wide open Michael Turner in the flat. Manning blitzes, got him.
Smart.
He really is something. For a second-year guy, I mean, you can just tell he gets it. And we're talking to Tony Gonzalez about him. He said the guy studies all the time. On his off day, he's in there before the coaches are almost.
3rd and 1, they go with 2 fullbacks, Snelling and Haynes in the backfield. And Ryan seemed to bobble the snap, or maybe that was design, and he flips it out to Snelling, and they'll pick up the first down.
Great play right here. They look like they're going to try and do a quarterback sneak. They fake a sneak, and then he raises up and flips this thing out to Snelling. They look like it's a quarterback sneak. Now you send it backwards, and Snelling ends up picking up the first down. You know, we have seen Mike Mularkey. Remember when he was back in Pittsburgh, all the trick plays, Antoine Randall, Hines Ward, all those things, came up with a good one there.
1st and goal, Turner and Norwood now in the backfield. And Ryan rolling, buying time, flag thrown, ball is caught for a touchdown.
Holding, offense
holding.
number 73, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Terry McCauley ends that drama right off the bat. Harvey Dahl with a hold, negating a touchdown.
Well, Harvey Dahl is known around Falcons land as the nastiest player in the NFL right here. And this one's going to take away a touchdown. He finishes plays. He is a nasty guy. He's going to drive you into the ground. And, well, I think anytime you pull the jersey, I didn't see the pull, but you pull that jersey at all and the referee sees that thing pull away, they're going to get the call.
Trying to block Israel Adonijay. So it's 1st and goal now. The ball comes back to the 20-yard line. White splitting wide to the right, and the pass goes to White, and White will slip out of bounds at the 14-yard line, covered by Tino Isamoa. Now you've got 21 seconds and a 2nd down and goal. And Jarius Norwood, who was shaken earlier and then came back, looked like it might be a hip, and that is the report, and they're going to take him back to the locker room.
As great a player as he's been, he has struggled with injuries. We saw him in practice the other day, a pretty slight guy. Had a couple of concussions already this season, and hate to lose him.
And that's what caused it. 2nd and goal from the 14-yard line. Jenkins comes over to the slot. You've got a flag. I think Chicago was offside. And now you got the ball that squirts loose and goes out of bounds. Justin Peel. Alex Brown came across the line.
Well, Alex Brown is known for jumping quickly to try and get a pass rush. Time a little too quickly.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Illegal motion, offense, offside, defense, penalties offset, 2nd down.
So it offsets, but it does cost Atlanta 7 seconds, and we're now down to 14 as the clock becomes an issue, even though Atlanta has 2 timeouts. Jenkins split to the right. You've got Roddy White on a wing to the left. Ryan out of the gun. Throws over the middle, and that's a short pass that is caught by Finneran, and they're going to have to take a timeout here, and it's going to be 3rd down and goal. Timeout Atlanta. We can tell you that Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Wendy's. You know when it's real. By Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. By GE, Imagination at Work, and by Chevy and our award-winning cars, trucks, and crossovers.
Well, we did the Olympics in Atlanta back in the day, whenever that was. I had about 17,000 chili dogs from the varsity. That was the only place I ate. I loved it.
It's our halftime fare up here tonight.
Good.
1986, the Olympics. So you have a 3rd down and goal. They do have a timeout, so they can work any part of the field.
Gonzalez closest to the offensive line. Now they go empty.
Ryan to the end zone, has his man for the touchdown. Tony Gonzalez. Slam dunk. Third touchdown as a Falcon for Gonzalez. Jason Elam for the point after. That's the 79th touchdown of Gonzalez's illustrious career and gives Atlanta the lead. And a souvenir for a kid in the first row.
Just the Tampa 2 here. You're going to see Nick Roach going to go out and up. Now, typically he would go and cover the middle of the field, but the little out move here by Tony Gonzalez makes him take a lateral step, and then he loses his depth. Old veteran play, Tony Gonzalez. Matt Ryan has absolutely fallen in love with Tony Gonzalez, especially down around the red zone. Some of those little veteran moves. The young quarterback knew exactly where he was going with that one.
Going to the no huddle changed everything for Atlanta.
How about the clock management on the part of Matt Ryan as well? Take all but 4 seconds off the clock. And for Tony Gonzalez, last season, their tight ends combined had 19 catches. Tony Gonzalez had 19 in the first 4 games. So they have found a weapon, you know, almost sort of the triplets now, you know, when you're talking about the Atlanta Falcons, Roddy White and Michael Turner, Matt Ryan, and shoot, Tony Gonzalez, let's make them the quadruplets.
Now you have Manning back, and again, he led the league in kickoff return average. The question is, do they even give him a chance to touch the ball? And Kanan will send a bouncing ball to him at the 5-yard line. And Manning starts to stumble and can only bring it back to the 25, and that takes us to halftime with the Falcons leading the Chicago Bears 14-7. And out of the second half at the Georgia Dome in Atlanta, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrea Kramer. Week 6 of the 2008 season, and both Knox and Danielle Manning will drop back deep on the kickoff as Chicago gets the ball to start the third quarter. Michael Kanan, their punter and kickoff man, ready to put it in the air. The third quarter is underway. Danielle Manning looked at Knox, and that didn't fool anybody as a flag comes in at the end of this play. Run back to the 29-yard line. Referee is Terry
During
McCauley.
return, holding, receiving team number 52. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Jamar Williams.
What a great play by Danielle Manning, not throwing this ball. They had a trick play. They're going to send Johnny Knox over here and throw him the ball. Danielle Manning takes a look that you can see he's in trouble. He throws that ball and might be picked off and run in for a touchdown to start the second half. Pulls it down. Great poise on the part of Manning.
Talked about it at the top. Both teams with very good special teams and good coverage that time. And Atlanta defending it well, knowing you've got 2 guys and either of them can run it back or lateral to the other. As Forte picks up 4, and we check in with Andrea Kramer. Andrea.
Well, Al, you guys had said that the Falcons' no-huddle offense changed everything. Mike Smith couldn't agree with you more. He said they actually wanted to get to it earlier, but field position did not allow them to do so. Lovie Smith admitted to me that it caught them off guard. He said the only adjustment they have to make is to get the defensive calls in quicker. As for Falcons running back Jarius Norwood, hip flexor, doubtful for his return.
Now that means we'll see Turner and more of Turner. Second down and 6, and that no huddle did indeed. And we'll show you some statistics as we move along here in the third quarter. Huddle versus no huddle as Cutler throws, and that's a yard shy of the first down as he links with the tight end Olsen, tackled by Brian Williams. Third down.
And it's good to see Jay Cutler coming out a little relaxed there. You saw him check to the audible. He saw the cross blitz coming with the 2 inside linebackers. He says, fine, man coverage. I'll just take Olsen out here in the flat, ended up with a 3rd and 1. This is a guy who doesn't get shaken, you know. I mean, he knows he didn't play well that first half, but the second half for the Bears have been awfully good lately.
He's going to sneak it for the first down and get it. Ball loose, but after the whistle, and he should have enough for a first down, and does.
And we talked a little bit about the fact that the Bears have struggled early on. They were outscored 31-7 in the first quarter of games coming in here, but outscored their opponents by 51 points, 98-57 after that first quarter. So this is a team that's used to playing well in the second half and coming back.
Ogunleye getting stretched out on the sideline. Yards dead even, ball at the 30. And Forte gets knocked down in the backfield by Jonathan Babineau. Talking about Cutler, he had the 4 picks on opening night at Green Bay, but since then, his pass rating over 100 in the ensuing 3 games against Pittsburgh, at Seattle, and against Detroit. And Billy Wade did it in 4 straight back in '61, and Rudy Bukic. And of course, it's the obligatory Sid Luckman mention, 1943. You can't do a Bears game without talking about Sir Sidney. 2nd and 11 from the 29. Cutler throwing to the sideline, and Olsen is out of bounds. 3rd and 11, and Chris, neither team able to do anything really on the ground tonight. Chicago, Forte, 9 carries, 16 yards.
Yeah, and the game is playing out exactly as it did a season ago. Both teams, a lot of blitzes. They're trying to put pressure on the quarterback, trying to stop the run game with those blitzes. And we've seen a lot of these situations. These 3rd and 10, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8, very dangerous for a quarterback. You're going to see something exotic coming at you here, and you cannot make another big mistake.
On a 3rd and 11, screen set up, and Forte, and he gets taken down. Good tackling by Atlanta tonight. That's Chris Houston. Before Forte could spin away and perhaps pick up the first down, drags him down by the ankle.
Great call here by defensive coordinator Brian Van Gorder. You're expecting blitz. You've been bringing blitz all night. So what do? The Bears think they're going to get a blitz and call a screen. They just drop back into a simple zone and force the Bears to punt the ball.
Here comes Maynard's 3rd punt of the night. Eric Weems has proven he is a dangerous returner. Sets up at the 17-yard line. This time Weems will call for a fair catch at the 17. So Ryan ready to lead the offense back out onto the field early in the 3rd quarter in Georgia. 14-7 Falcons. Atlanta with the ball at the 18-yard line. Their first possession of the second half. Take to Turner, and then Ryan just throws it away.
Well, for Matt Ryan, when they go to the no huddle, he was just too much. He beats the blitz on this first play, which then forces the Bears to run a very simple cover 2 defense. Matt Ryan just kept dumping it. They kept running the same defense over and over again because they didn't want to try and match wits with Matt Ryan, and ultimately burns them for the touchdown to Tony Gonzalez. He was absolutely brilliant. 8 for 8, 97 yards, and 2 touchdowns in that no-huddle offense.
There's your whole story right there. 3 3-and-outs, and then they changed the pace and changed the course of the game. This is White. It's wrestled down to the 21-yard line by Charles Tillman. Well, what a day for White. Last week, Candlestick Park, that was the 49ers' worst ever defeat at Candlestick. 45-10, and White had 210 receiving yards, franchise record.
And remember, Roddy White was a holdout this year, and they were struggling with him. He said he missed all the camp, and the timing was off in the first 3 games, and Mike Smith sat him down and said, listen, Forget all that stuff. Go back to being Roddy. Have some fun. Have a few laughs. And boy, did he ever in San Francisco.
3rd and 7. And that's going to be picked off at the 35-yard line. Zachary Bowman with the interception. And then the ball comes loose. And a scramble at the 40-yard line. And Chicago's going to contend Bowman anyway and hope that he gets the ruling that he was down. And Chicago's going to wind up with the ball regardless, as that's Daniel Manning who winds up with the football.
Well, they try to go back to that same out and up on the outside with Tony Gonzalez. Little move there. But that time it was Bowman who comes back inside and ends up with the pick. And what a big play it is for him. He has really struggled. And that ball was close. Was that Finneran that
yes.
ended up?
Finneran with a strip. And then getting back there, the Bears are able to recover it. Daniel Manning alertly on it to keep possession for Chicago at the 40-yard line. First down. Trying to get something going on the ground. Matt Forte for a loss of 3. Thomas Johnson and Chauncey Davis are right there. And Forte tonight, 10 carries, 13 yards.
Well, Thomas Johnson is just going to end up getting some penetration right in here. But it's more than that. They're sent about 9 guys there on first down. You can tell the Bears are trying to get their running game going. It's been a bit of a disaster so far for the Bears this season, averaging under 2 yards per carry on first down, and they can't get it going again tonight.
Forte averaging 3.8 coming into the game overall, and that's a short pass caught by Olsen, but the coverage is excellent. Curtis Lofton in on the play, and that sets up 3rd down and 8 for the Bears.
I think perhaps the most disappointing part of this Bears offense this year has been that they haven't been able to get Greg Olsen going. Everybody really thought it was going to go through Matt Forte and Greg Olsen, and they have such a great relationship, but they just have not gotten him started.
And tonight, 3 catches for only 14 yards. 3rd down and 9 from the 41.
Blitz again.
Here they come, and Cutler gets it away, and the hot read is Knox, but the tackle is right there, made by Grimes to stop him short of the first down and force another punt.
Well, we saw it in the first half, too. They're going to come blitz over here, and what do? You have no choice as the quarterback but to throw this one hot. You don't have enough guys to block it. Complete the pass, but you make the tackle short of the first down. Worked in the first half, worked again in the second half.
This will be Maynard's 4th punt of the game. Brad Maynard, 13th year in the league, a Bear since 01, coming from the Giants. Almost blocked it, and then it's fair caught at the 16-yard line. 8:17 left in the 3rd. Falcons by a touchdown. Back in Atlanta, midway through the 3rd quarter, the Falcons resurrection. Back to 07. Michael Vick suspended and later sentenced to prison. And Arthur Blank saying he would never play for the Falcons again. Then Bobby Petrino walked out on the team at the end of the year to coach Arkansas. They brought in Thomas Dimitroff from New England as the general manager. Mike Smith got the job as the head coach, drafted Matt Ryan. And that turned everything around. New GM, new coach, and there is Arthur Blank, who has really been through the wars as the owner here, cares very deeply about the team and the community. And we talked about Mike Smith, 1,000-to-1 shot to get the job, and wound up winning a lot of Coach of the Year polls last year. This is Michael Turner. You know, the thing about Mike Smith, we were talking about him, Chris, a lot of coaches, set goals. When Lovie Smith got the job in Chicago, he said, you know what, I want to beat Green Bay. And some guys say, I want to get to the playoffs. We're going to get to the Super Bowl. Mike Smith said it was really simple when he got here. He said, guys, here's our goal. We're going to win a game. We're just going to win a game, one game. He lives in the present.
Win one game, and then it led to another, and then they lose one. And he said, well, good teams don't lose back-to-back games. He just kept setting milestones for his team, and they kept matching them.
Terry McCauley with the call.
Offside. Defense, number 95. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That'll make it 2nd down and 5. And you know, it's good in Atlanta to not have larger goals. This is a franchise that came into the league in 1966, and they have never had back-to-back winning seasons. Never.
That's remarkable. I think they've got a shot this year, though. Don't want to put the kibosh on them. I'm pretty good at that, but
2nd and 5. And that's dropped.
See?
Jenkins looking upfield, had the first down and more, and looked away. 3rd down.
Well, for Mike Jenkins, he's the other guy, really. Roddy White's just taken off and exploded. And Jenkins has been playing well as of late, too. He just let that one get away from him.
3rd and 5 without the huddle. It's Roach changing the defense. Pressure is put on, and Lance Briggs that time doesn't blitz all that often. Briggs coming in, and the defensive captain able to knock it away. 4th down.
Well, I thought that was a mistake that time by Matt Ryan. Clearly the Bears were confused. You'll see Briggs coming off the edge. There's nobody there to block him. But you could see the Bears were confused, and Briggs was actually on the other side, came hustling around. If he had quick snapped that ball, he would have been able to get that one off, but instead he gave him time to get set.
Canaan's 5th punt of the night. He's averaging 49 yards per punt. This is a shorter one, and a line drive fielded at the 38-yard line by Devin Hester, looking for room around the corner and will not be able to find any. We talked about teams with no back-to-back winning seasons. There it is in all of the sports. The Falcons, the all-time record right now. The Indians went 35 years. The Clippers of the NBA, the LA Clippers, 33 seasons. And they can't turn it around this year because they had a losing year last year. Garrett Wolf is in the game, and he splits wide to the right on 1st down from the 40-yard line. Cutler throwing, and the pass is errant. And it is picked off by Stephen Nicholas as it doesn't hit the ground, and Nicholas is in for the touchdown on a pass intended for Earl Bennett. That looked for all the world as if it was going to hit the ground. And of course, the Bears will take a look immediately at the replay and see if they want to challenge this.
Incomplete. 2nd down.
Incomplete. They don't even have to.
Yeah,
it was
good
ruled
call.
incomplete.
You could see it go between Bennett's hands and hit the ground and then bounce. We have seen that one before. I wasn't sure when I saw it in live action, but it definitely hit the ground. Great piece of officiating out there.
Yeah, call came in late, but it's the correct call. And among other things, it saves a challenge for Chicago. 2nd down and 10. The ball is at the 40-yard line. Wolf is the back. Wolf takes it. And Garrett Wolf is able to break a couple of tackles and pick up a 1st down. He broke out of the grasp of Brent Grimes on a 1st down for little Garrett Wolf, the 5'7", 185-pound third-year back out of Northern Illinois, Michael Turner's school.
Yeah, Garrett Wolf, the speedster, now comes in the game, just like the Falcons used Jarius Norwood in the first half to try and break the bonds of all the inside pressure that the Falcons have been bringing. Now they let Garrett Wolf get out around the edge, and let's see if it stretches this Falcons defense a little.
He followed Turner at Northern Illinois. He's the number 2 back tonight, Adrian Peterson, who's normally the 2nd back.
First charge timeout.
Is inactive.
Atlanta.
And Atlanta takes a timeout with 6:48 to go in the 3rd. Falcons up by 7. After the timeout on defense, Chicago now on a 1st down. Garrett Wolf, gain of 3, and that's about as hot as Mike Smith has ever been, as they had to take a defensive timeout here.
Well, you talk to Mike Smith, you think he's the sweetest guy in the world, and he was a volcano on that one. He was really hot. You can see him say something about 55 there, but he was also yelling at Jamal Anderson. I think Anderson was supposed to be in the game. And he's saying what all coaches say, you just wasted a timeout for me right there.
Especially in the 2nd half. Here's the Wildcat now. Devin Hester is going to take the direct snap, and on 2nd and 6, he will not be able to pick up a 1st down, but he gets about 4, and that'll make it 3rd down and 2. And who better to run a wildcat than Devin Hester?
And we're seeing the Bears now trying to spread it out a little bit. They go wildcat with Garrett Wolfe in the game, so a lot of speed going in both directions. Jay Cutler was flanked all the way out to the right as a wide receiver, and a deadly threat out there.
A deadly decoy. 3rd and 1.
I'm sure he came back to his wide receiver and said, "I'm wide open."
And they give the ball to Forte, and he picks up a first down. They put Jason McKee in to lead the way. The fullback with the block with 5.5 now remaining in the 3rd, and Chicago moves the sticks.
Watch the patience by Forte here. He doesn't get rushed. He's going to let those blocks happen. Sees the hole. And Roberto Garza up front really opens the way. Number 63 just blowing his man right out of there. Big 3rd down play.
And McKee blowing Lofton right out of there as well. 1st and 10 at the 34. Wolf is the running back.
Remember, they only have 2 running backs in this game tonight.
Wolf and Forte. Garrett Wolf. Nothing doing it through the middle. And that's Curtis Lofton again, the 3-down linebacker this year.
You know, Garrett Wolf, one of those guys that can create some excitement for you, but I don't think you want him running between the tackles for a living in there. That is much more Matt Forte's, but you could see the Falcons defense spread a little bit because Garrett Wolf was in there, and the Bears thought they might be able to pop one. It's about the most I've seen Garrett Wolf play, though.
2nd and 11. You've got Hester wide left, Bennett wide to the right. Olsen is in the slot. Rush 6. Cutler under pressure, throws, and adjusting and making the catch at the 11-yard line is Desmond Clark. 2 Falcons on him. He's able to turn around, turn back. Cutler took a shot as he got it away. Big 1st down.
Check out the little guy, Garrett Wolf here. Blitz pickup. That's as good as you can do it right there against a big linebacker inside, Mike Peterson, and then the old vet on the outside, Desmond Clark. All Cutler did was throw it to his back shoulder, and man, did he ever hang in there on that throw. He knew he was going to get popped. That's the best play of the game so far for the Bears.
And a full 360 by Clark. It's a 24-yard reception. Ball at the 11. Now Wolf in the slot. And Cutler's pass is incomplete. Trying to get it to Olsen at the 6. 2nd down.
Can't miss that throw. That's an easy one. I mean, you know, for Jay Cutler, that's as easy as it gets. Greg Olsen absolutely wide open. I think he just rushed in and just sailed high on him, but that's NFL football. You can't miss that one. Especially down here, you know, he's already struggled once in the red zone, thrown 1 interception.
And 7 red zone picks in the last 2 years. Forte is the running back. 2nd and 10. Here's Forte. Crosses the 10, and that's all. Jamal Anderson, number 98, throws him back with 3:20 left in the quarter, and 3rd and 8 coming up.
Well, Jamal Anderson has seen his role change a little bit. They're now essentially saying that we know he's not a great pass rusher. He used to play in. The one thing he's always done well here is play the run, and that was a huge one because now it sets up 3rd and long, and now these blitzes that have been so effective can be put to use.
3rd and 8 from the 9.
Watch the slot blitzes coming.
Cutler flushed out. Now throws, and the pass is caught as he goes to Clark. So he rolled out, hits Clark, and that'll be a 1st down. They can get a 1st down without getting a touchdown, and they do. 1st and goal inside the 1.
Jay Cutler here, as he's done many times, extends this play. He has nobody open initially, flushes out of the pocket, and boy, I tell you, that is some kind of catch on the outside by Desmond Clark. He's going to get it right in the chops, bobbles that ball, somehow holds on to it. Play of the game.
The savvy Clark, longtime Bronco, 11th year in the league now. Cutler on play action, throwing, and it's incomplete, and everybody is covered on the play intended for the fullback, Jason McKee.
Well, I tell you, I've seen the Bears throw the ball so much in these red zone goal line situations. They are just, you think of Mike Ditka and the Bears and Walter Payton diving over the top, and the Bears with Jay Cutler have been throwing it down here.
They need bad weather.
Yeah.
No domes, no sunshine. 2nd and goal. Forte is the back. He gets it. And Forte with a dive. Doesn't get in. No.
That ball's out.
The ball is loose as well. It's Curtis Lofton. Atlanta thinks they have it. No signal yet. Now they got to get to the bottom of the pile. You got all kinds of extra stuff going on down here, even amongst teammates. Forte with only 2 fumbles in his career, and Chicago has it. At the bottom of the pile, there's a bear there, so it's a live ball. Only 2 career fumbles for Forte coming in, and he puts this one on the ground.
Watch the play here by Curtis Lofton, getting off the block and just diving into Matt Forte, and that ball is out well before the goal line. Bears awfully lucky here.
It's Forte reaching around behind him. Who may have come up with the ball. His back is on top of the ball, and then there's Williams trying to get in there. There's Lofton trying to get in there.
They gave him possession with the ball behind his back.
They did. Had his arms around it. 3rd and goal.
I'm old-fashioned. I'm the Chicago Bears. I'm running this one.
They're tossing it and running it, but
and
he lost the ball again on back-to-back plays. And this time the Falcons are there to recover it. Jonathan Babineau created the fumble. Tremendous goal line stand by the Atlanta Falcons. Boy Wire with the recovery. Starting from their own 2-yard line. Looking for room. They give it to the fullback, and that's Snelling with some tough running. How odd is it for Matt Forte to fumble? He had handled the ball 478 times with 2 fumbles, catches and carries, before fumbling on the last 2 plays. 2 out of 478, and then back-to-back plays. Go figure. 2nd and 4 from the 8. And some good tough running here. Turner out to the 20-yard line. And we go back to the second of Forte's fumbles.
Jonathan Babineau right here, coming off his block, getting down the line of scrimmage, and drills Matt Forte. Squares him up, pops that ball out of there. They talk about Jonathan Babineau, the hardest working guy, plays more snaps than anybody on that defensive line. He hates coming off the field. And boy, he made Matt Forte pay with that one.
And that's the end of the 3rd quarter with a score: Atlanta 14, Chicago 7. And NBC's Sunday Night Football from Atlanta continues after these messages from your local NBC station. Fourth quarter, Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Andrew Kramer, 1st and 10 for the Falcons, and Turner's going to run into a defensive back in the backfield and then turn a 2-yard loss into a nice gain. Ran right through Al Afalava, the rookie from Oregon State. Now look at the standings right now in the NFC North. Minnesota winning today, knocking off Baltimore. So very big for Chicago here. Otherwise, they'd already be 2.5 games back. Green Bay 3-2 now in the South. You've got New Orleans beating the Giants, so they are 5-0. And Atlanta will either be a game back or 2 games back after tonight. 2nd and 5. Ryan rolling, chase, and winds up hitting Roddy White before he steps out of bounds, and that's a 1st down.
That time they are going to align Roddy White in the backfield and simply get him out in this bootleg. Anytime you see this much pressure, basically 9 in the box now for the Bears to try and stop this run. So they take their wide out in the backfield and come with that motion. I tell you, we've seen Matt Ryan do a great job with this bootleg action. He's been carrying out those fakes so that when he actually runs it, it's effective.
First down of the 30. Ryan running out of the pocket and then running out of bounds, and that's a gain of 8 yards. So this is really a worst case scenario for Chicago on two ends. Number one, they're a yard away from tying the game with a touchdown. They fumble, and then Atlanta takes over at the 2-yard line, so at least your defense can pin him and you get the ball back with good field position, and that's gone right now. They've already moved the ball out to the 38-yard line.
Well, so many times when you're sitting on the bench defensively and you're thinking you're about to tie the score and all of a sudden it's a turnover, emotionally you just have this huge letdown, and the Bears, who have been playing so great on defense, have just let down a little.
So Tino Isamoa limping to the bench, and Snelling is stopped at the line of scrimmage. Tino Isamoa was hit on the first play of the season in the Green Bay Sunday Nighter, hurt his knee and has come back, and now he's hurt again.
I think they've had a different linebacker combination in every single game this season. They have 6 that they like, and they have used just about everybody. Jamar Williams, Tino Isamoa, Urlacher, Hillmeyer, Roach, Briggs, in odd combinations. Now their third Mike Backer in the middle, and that's really the key to this defense.
And again, just for housekeeping duties here, Urlacher gone for the season, hurt on opening night, broken wrist. Injured reserve. Third down and 3. Ryan throws, and that'll move the chains again as he hits Snelling for a first down. Afalava making the tackle.
Tremendous protection all night, even though this one was a 3-step drop. Pretty interesting. You're going to flank your fullback out wide and throw him the football. That's confidence across the board that your athletes are better than their athletes. The rookie Al Apalava in coverage, and for Jay Cutler, he's thinking, well, I finally got to drive right, and we fumbled the football.
2 red zone turnovers tonight for Chicago. One on the pass, the other on the Forte run. Ryan throws it into the Chicago bench. 2nd and 10.
Well, Matt Ryan saw the blitz coming that time, and he bailed, and he really didn't need to. If he had stood in there, I think he would have come up with a big play. They brought pressure from his backside, and I don't think he thought he had it picked up, but he did a pretty good job with it. Mike Smith, and such a good guy. And boy, when he got mad, he looked a lot like a football coach out there, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. Right over the central casting. 2nd and 10. Caught. Jenkins makes the catch and lunges forward, and that's another first down at the 42-yard line.
Well, Mike Jenkins, a big body on the outside, but he realizes with the safety in the middle of the field, he's got a 3-deep coverage, and he's going to go after Zach Bowman. That's where everybody's going. Charles Tillman in this game has had Roddy White all over the field, so that means that on the backside of that, Zach Bowman, who struggled this year, as did Nathan Vasher, who he replaced, is going to be the guy on the spot.
Good mix of pass and run. 9 plays on this drive so far. 4 first downs. Turner can't get around the corner and gets pummeled to the 41-yard line by Briggs and Williams.
In many ways, it is kind of a cruel game, you know, when somebody's struggling on the outside the way these Bears cornerbacks have been this season. Well, you just keep getting balls thrown in that direction until you get it right. And so Zach Bowman, we were talking to Lovey last night about it, and he said he's just going to have to make plays. He wants people to quit throwing his way. You're going to have to pick off a few and take them the other way, and he did have one tonight. Charles Tillman, the best of the corners out here.
2nd and 9. To the outside. And that's caught by the tight end, Peel. Interesting disparity here as you look at Chicago's defense. On or outside of the left numbers, the passer rating would be 110 and change. But then if you go to the other side of the field,
Tillman's side.
Tillman's side, normally the pass rating would be 40.
Yeah, and what makes it really unusual is most right-handed quarterbacks look to the right. I mean, that's their visual side of the field. Much tougher to throw back left.
3rd and 4. This one's thrown over the middle and incomplete. It was Afalava was able to get a hand in there on a pass intended for Tony Gonzalez, and he breaks it up, and there goes Tino Isamoa back to the locker room.
Boy, for Al Afalava, this is a humongous play. Covering one of the great tight ends of all time, all over the field. Maybe a little hold there, but he gets in there and breaks that thing up. That was big. Get the football back for your team.
So the Falcons were able to move the ball 62 yards, chew up 6 minutes. And Canaan's kick is a high end-over-end kick. Fair catch signaled for and made. A flag is down. Hester makes the catch at the 11-yard line. There's a flag down back at the 2 for ineligible man downfield.
Defense, 12 men on the field.
12 men.
5-yard penalty, first down.
Oh my goodness.
Oh boy. Wow.
Oh my goodness.
Let's count them.
All right, let's see what we come up with here. 4, 5, 6, 7. There's 11, and then Hester back deep.
Hester, yep.
They've got it right. That is a train wreck. Remember, we saw the Bears on our first Sunday night. They tried that fake punt where the center essentially snapped it back on his own, tried to make a play, and now a turnover. 12 guys on the field. We saw the Falcons mess it up, but the Bears with a much bigger foul up, and they missed it.
But Dave Talby, special teams coordinator, and their special teams in Chicago, so good normally. And then Ryan throws, and it's intercepted. It's tipped and picked off, and then the ball comes loose. But after it was down, and Chicago will have the football. Nathan Vacher got the pick. Lost it, but after he was down, Manning runs off the field with it, and Chicago gets the ball back eventually. I'll tell you what, there was a lot of stuff going on. You had 12 men on the field. That gave Ryan the ball back on a first down. Here it is again. It's an errant call by the official, but it's a moot point here. Tipped by Jenkins, intercepted by Vacher. He was ruled down even though clearly he fumbled, and Daniel Manning wound up recovering the fumble. So after all of that, the Bears get the ball back about 3 yards shy of where they would have had it when Hester made the fair catch with 12 men on the field. From the 8, Cutler stepping up and stepping out, and Cutler with one of the great runs of his career, trust me. Not too many in that scrapbook. That's 30 yards, second longest rush of his career.
Well, for Jay Cutler, when he sees those linebackers start to chase the receivers underneath, he knows he has a free shot at it. He was talking about it last night. He says, if I see those guys run out of there, I'm going to take off. And little Gale Sayers move there on the tail end of that. That's a big play. And sometimes a quarterback run like that can really spark an offense.
From the 38-yard line. First down. Forte is the running back. And Cutler's going to throw, and Hester is covered. Back with him. Grimes. Mike Peterson put the pressure on Cutler that time. Second down and 10.
We talked about how physical Brent Grimes is on the outside. That time the Falcons came with a blitz, and Grimes does a great job of jamming Hester off the line of scrimmage. Completely messed up the timing of that route. You know, Chris Houston is a great guy to run and cover, but Brent Grimes, he takes a different approach. He's just going to jam you right in the throat.
Second and 10. Atlanta up by 7 with 9 minutes to play. Cutler checks down underneath. And Forte is right there for the catch, but so is the defense.
Yeah, I think that's one that Jay Cutler would like to have back. He had single coverage on Johnny Knox at the top of the field on a little in route They had this thing picked up. He had time to make a throw. Instead, he chose the dump down and just never saw Johnny Knox.
3rd and 8. Crowd rising, exhorting the defense. Big play.
He got him. Jay Cutler sees this blitz. If he can get into something good.
Good protection. Has time, but the coverage is also good. And a flag comes in. The coverage is good, but illegal. Chris Houston didn't turn around to look to see where the ball was.
Same thing again. He had the single coverage.
Pass interference. Defense, number 23. Automatic, first down.
And we talked about the rookie being ahead of his years. Watch this one. Johnny Knox understands he has position. The ball's underthrown. A veteran receiver jumps back into the coverage. Automatic pass interference. 100% of the time. Here's Johnny Knox on the outside, but watch the protection. They came with the blitz, gave him plenty of time to look at it. And for Johnny Knox, that is a very veteran play. He is making a huge impression on him.
Guaranteed pass interference when the defensive back doesn't look for the ball. And Hester put his hand up, but the pass is incomplete. So you got a 23-yard penalty. 2nd down and 10 now at the Atlanta 37.
Well, that time Brent Grimes tried to get physical on the outside, and he's the one that gets knocked down. Hester gets off, and this looks like it's going to end up being a touchdown, and they just missed the throw. Hester never picks up the ball.
Garrett Wolf, the back. 2nd and 10. Fake to him. Stays in the block. Cutler slings it to the 19-yard line. Knox cutting across the field, and a flag against Chicago.
10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Orlando Pace holding.
Orlando Pace has played so great tonight, but he's going to get called for a hole on a huge gainer for the Bears on the outside, working against Chauncey Davis. Davis tries to go low, and you could see him. He grabbed that shoulder and pulled him back. That's a good call. And for Johnny Knox, he is beating this man coverage all over the field. Every time they try and come with a blitz now, I'd be looking for Johnny Knox.
2nd and 20. Knox wide to the right. Hester wide left. Cutler hangs in. Cutler going deep, and he hits Olsen deep downfield to the 6 for a 1st and goal. So sooner or later, they kept Olsen in check. He's been in check much of the season. Reaches up, big play. 41 yards.
Watch the safety come this way. Jay Cutler knows right now he's got single coverage on both guys on the backside, and there's the play we've been waiting for. Greg Olsen working against the corner, Brian Williams, and Cutler lays that one in there absolutely perfectly. But more than that, that was a great read by Cutler to know where to go with that football.
1st and goal. Forte. They call his number after those 2 earlier fumbles. Takes the ball to the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal with under 7 minutes. Red zone a problem tonight. 2 turnovers on both drives. One a Cutler pick and the other a Forte fumble.
Here comes that goal line defense back in again that came up with a turnover last time. Showing a lot of confidence in Forte to stick him right back in there.
And Cutler's going to take a timeout. Timeout, Chicago, their first. 14-7 Falcons with the Bears threatening. This drive, after Vasher's interception, started with a 30-yard Jay Cutler run, taking them from the 8 to the 38. Now they are down at the 2-yard line, 2nd and goal. McKee is the fullback. Forte is the running back.
He has man coverage on the outside if he wants it.
Desmond Clark is over there. He goes to the left side for Olsen, and incomplete. Olsen covered by Brian Williams that time, and it will be 3rd down and goal.
Everybody in the building knew what it was going to be, a fade to his favorite target. But watch Brian Williams get his hands in there. Greg Olsen has that catch, and he simply knocks it out of his hands. Watch this. He's got it like spiking a volleyball. Just got it out of there.
And it comes with a price, though, because Williams is hurt.
And, oh, boy, you could see Williams come down on his knee.
And reach for it. So Williams, the longtime Jacksonville Jaguar, picked up at the onset of the season, is down. Brian Williams has just gotten up within the last couple of seconds, reaching for his knee. The goal line stand for Atlanta tonight. And this was the earlier one with Cutler throwing incomplete. And Forte fumbling, but they recovered, and then he fumbled again. Babineau created that one, and then Atlanta was able to move well downfield. Now Williams is going to come off, and Chevis Jackson, second-year cornerback out of LSU, will take the spot of the veteran here with a 3rd and goal upcoming.
Well, we got a couple of things working now. I personally think this is 4-down territory. So there's nothing wrong with running the football in this situation, assuming you're going to try and go for it on 4th down. However, now that you've got Brian Williams out of the game, maybe you try and take advantage of a guy who's probably playing in his first play of the game down here, go spread, and try and work somebody like a Garrett Wolf in a one-on-one kind of a situation.
Williams off, Jackson in, they send Bennett out to the left.
Trips to the right, watch the backside slant if the safety moves this way. He is.
Hester to the right, safety moving in that direction. Cutler out of the shotgun on 3rd down, over the middle, and he winds up with a touchdown to Greg Olsen, who was covered by Chevis Jackson. So they found the weak spot, the guy who hadn't played, and right over the middle, it's Greg Olsen for the touchdown.
You see it right here. You're going to see a great release. We talked about it just a second ago. You bring a new guy in the game, Greg Olsen gets the release and gets the touchdown, but Jay Cutler looked backside first. He didn't like what he saw and came back to Olsen, who is finally starting to make the plays we all thought he would.
Robbie Gould to tie the game. So a 30-yard run by Cutler, 41-yard pass to Olsen, a 23-yard pass interference call, and then the touchdown to Olsen against the new kid on the block, and we're tied at 14. In Atlanta, 6:14 to play in regulation. The game is tied after the Chicago score. 3 yards deep in the end zone. Weems will run it out and run through the middle and run out past the 40 and into Chicago territory. And they'll give him a first down at the 41-yard line of the Bears. Eric Weems, second-year man out of Bethune-Cookman.
Boy, I tell you, you end up scoring a touchdown on offense and then give up this kind of a kickoff return on the backside of it. Just makes you sick. For the Chicago Bears, they had the too many men on the field for the punt. Come back and allow that kind of a kickoff return. It has not been a good 4th quarter for them.
62-yard return, first down at the Chicago 41-yard line. They wind up with 3 backs here. Give it to Turner to the 37-yard line out of the inverted wishbone.
Go back to the touchdown now. You'll see the safety cheat this way. So right now, Jay Cutler knows on the backside that receiver has the choice, either a slant or a fade. When he chooses to run the fade instead of the slant, Cutler doesn't like it. Comes back to Olsen and finds him for the touchdown.
And found the guy replacing Williams, who is out for the game with a knee injury. Tino Isamoa out for the game with a knee injury for Chicago. 2nd and 6. Fake toss. Ryan rolling, and then he'll just throw it away. Setting up a 3rd down and 6 from the 37-yard line.
Great play by Adewale Ogunleye here. You're going to see Tony Gonzalez come across here and try and get into the bootleg. Ogunleye just gives him a shot, so Matt Ryan has nowhere to go with the football and has to just simply throw it away.
Third down, 6. Bears come. Blocking always good. Pass is also good. First down. Caught by Tony Gonzalez over the middle. Al Afalava makes the tackle. They'll spot it at the 21-yard line. First down.
The Bears are getting beat at the line of scrimmage. They are confused. They are not getting lined up. You could see they weren't even ready for the snap of the ball. It's about the 3rd time tonight on big plays that we've seen that. Now, certainly, you've got to give them a little bit of the benefit of the doubt because of the fact that Nick Roach is their 3rd middle linebacker making the calls. But you have to get lined up and you have to get set.
Roach giving a signal to the outside as the play started. Here's Turner. Tackled by Brown. Ticking down to 4.5 minutes. 2nd down and 8 upcoming.
Boy, this has been some tough sledding inside, hasn't it, for these running backs tonight? They have just stacked everything inside and forced these quarterbacks to make plays, and they certainly both have on the evening. But for Michael Turner, averaged over 150 yards per game a season ago. This year, around 100 yards per game. Teams have started to focus in on him.
And tonight, 25 carries, or 25 yards on 12 carries, 2 yards per tote. 2nd down and 9. And that's caught by Gonzalez. He's inside the 10, and it's 1st and goal for Atlanta. Plenty of gas in that tank for the 13-year veteran.
Tony Gonzalez right over here on this side of the line of scrimmage is just going to come on that crossing route. I'll tell you, Matt Ryan is not missing. You know, when we talk about Peyton Manning and we say that he always finds the open guy, well, Matt Ryan on these key drives has been finding the open guy, and more often than not, it's Tony Gonzalez.
First and goal. Fake toss. And Ryan will throw that one out of the side of the end zone. 2nd down and goal. Timeout situation. Each team has used 1. So they each have 2 left with 3:10 remaining in the 4th.
I tell you, Adewale Ogunleye has sort of just been in the right place at the right time. That's the 2nd time they've tried to bring a receiver across the formation. And he just sort of was spinning, trying to avoid a block there, and ran into Roddy White and destroyed that play again.
And White comes out of the game. White back on the bench. 2nd down and goal. Turner to the end zone. Touchdown Atlanta. Weems with that 62-yard run back, giving them a short field, and they go 41 yards in 7 plays.
Watch the play fake here by Matt Ryan. It's going to hold Adewale Ogunleye and give Michael Turner that cutback lane. They've been running the boot, and that time they hand it off, and they score the touchdown.
Jason Elam with the extra point in his 17th season. Tacks on the conversion, and the Atlanta Falcons are back up by a touchdown with 3:06 left.
Ogunleye had been playing that bootleg so well that you'll see him here on the end of the line of scrimmage. When he sees Matt Ryan carry that play fake out, he's going to come here, and that's going to allow Michael Turner the cutback lanes. This is the very core play of this offense. Good patience by Michael Turner there as well. It's the way it's supposed to work.
The winner of this game, you said it at the top, goes to 4-1. And in the NFC, when you're 4-1, you're a legitimate threat to win the conference title.
Here we go, Jay Cutler one more time. Remember when we saw him in Green Bay, he didn't have the best of games, 4 interceptions, but he did drive his team down the field to take the lead in the fourth quarter, but the Packers answered with Aaron Rodgers hitting a big long touchdown pass.
Gaining stick, fielded 4 yards in the end zone by Knox. And the coverage is great when it has to be for the Falcons as they knock them down at the 12-yard line.
Well, here's exactly why you pay the big money to get a franchise quarterback. It's not going to be easy this time. It's a long way to go against a defense that now knows they can do just about anything from here. 3 minutes, not a lot of time, but enough for a guy like Jay Cutler.
Start from the 12. 2 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning. Hester. A little bit of blocking, but Atlanta stops the play after a gain of 6. Grimes with the tackle.
If the Falcons stay in this cover 2 that they are, which is what they like to run in a prevent kind of a situation, typically Greg Olsen going down the middle of the field is the play. If they cover him, you try and hit the back right over the ball out of the backfield.
Cutler flings it over the middle, and it's Hester getting wide open past the 40 to the Falcons side of the field, and finally run out of bounds by Chris Houston at the 48-yard line of Atlanta. That's a gain of 34 yards.
Well, they change it up. Instead of sending Olsen down the middle of the field against this coverage, this time they take Devin Hester, and boy, look at all the space in there for him to operate. Falcons are lucky that one didn't go all the way. Look at all the space in the middle of the field. That cover 2. That time Curtis Lofton, for some reason, jumped up on the back. You don't do that in that situation. You cover that hole down the middle.
On first down, blitz coming, gets it away to Forte, and Forte gets a little push from behind by Abraham that nets him a first down. And that's going to take us to the 2-minute warning with a first down at the Atlanta 35-yard line. 2 minutes left in regulation. A good one in Atlanta, and it figured to be. 21-14 Falcons. At the 35, Falcons nearly jump off, and in fact they do throw a flag for a false start against Chicago, against Chris Williams.
Neutral zone infraction, defense number 71, 5-yard penalty, first down.
Interesting, because the initial indication from the judge, the side judge, was that it was going to be a false start. Oh, look at that. That was Kreutz looking up, and then he signaled a false start against Chicago, but was overruled by the other official, making it a first down and 5 at the 30-yard line. And now Cutler throws, and that's going to be caught for a first down by Devin Hester. He's tackled there by Chris Houston. Chicago with 2 timeouts. The ball is at the 24.
Well, they're staying in that defense, and don't forget Chevis Jackson is still in the game for Brian Williams. He's in the slot covering Earl Bennett.
Bennett slot right, Hester to the left, Knox wide to the right. First and 10 of the 24. Rush 4. Cutler to the back of the end zone and incomplete. Knox covered on the play by Brent Grimes. Second down and 10 with 1:22 left.
Well, for Brent Grimes, it has been a challenge. This is as tough as it gets. Straight man-to-man coverage against one of the fastest players in the league. You know, everybody's going to argue, is that an arm bar? Does he cut him off? But that's a great no call by the officials. Just 2 guys playing ball.
Second and 10. Knox and Bennett to the left. Hester to the right. Olsen and tight on the right side. Cutler. He's going to get sacked at the 31-yard line. Bierman, the first guy there, and then Babineau finishes him off.
You're going to see just the entire defensive line end up making a move and getting the pressure. The outside guys do their job. They force Cutler to step up. John Abraham is going to get the speed rush going against Orlando Pace. That spin move. Bierman met him about the same time. And then the inside guys clean it up.
And that's a 7-yard sack, and it makes it 3rd down and 17. And obviously Chicago in a 4-down situation, so 2 plays to get those 17 yards.
And what really hurt on that last one, it was just a 4-man pressure, no blitz, which meant that Jay Cutler was trying to find a hole, but there were 7 guys back in coverage.
Chicago took a timeout, so they have 1 left. 3rd and 17 from the 31. Five receivers set. 4-man rush. Over the middle, flag thrown. Olsen looks around for the flag, and he gets it.
Prior to the pass, illegal contact. Defense number 50.
Curtis Lofton.
They might change that to pass interference. Curtis Lofton, number 50, is going to go down the field. Watch Olsen, a little double move here.
Correction. Defensive pass interference. Number 50. Automatic first down.
It's the same call we talked about earlier there. The fact that Lofton doesn't get his head around here means that Olsen has the right to go back through him for the ball, and you will always get that call. Great job by Olsen understanding the situation. The ball was in the air, so the illegal contact goes to pass interference, and what a huge play that is. First down.
Off a 3rd and 17, it is a first down at the 14-yard line. 67 seconds left. And Cutler has that one knocked down at the line of scrimmage.
And it's a good thing because Johnny Knox had that slant wide open, and Jay Cutler knows it. He had single coverage on the outside, one of the few times he's gotten it off coverage. There's Johnny Knox. That looks like it's going to be a touchdown to me, but Jonathan Babineau gets those big hooks up in the air and saves one.
Good night for Babineau. 2nd and 10 from the 14. And a false start.
False start. Offense number 68. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Frank Omayel cost him 5 yards.
That time Olin Kreutz got his own guy. Kreutz did one of those quick head bobs and try and draw the defense off sides, and he got Frank Omayel.
Now from the 19.
Middle of the field should be open.
Cutler swings it to the outside and throws it behind Forte, but in comes another flag. Offensive pass interference.
Yeah, they called a pick there.
Pass interference. Offense number 80. 10-yard penalty. 2nd down.
Earl Bennett.
They're trying to set up the play underneath. Earl Bennett's going to go up here and pick. I think it was Matt Forte's guy coming across the field here. Go right into him. And you can see it would have popped wide open had they been able to hit it.
Back to the 29. So 15 yards worth of penalties on the last 2 plays. 2nd and 25 with 61 ticks left. And Cutler throws, and that is also behind the intended receiver, Olsen. 3rd down. Cutler taking a shot at the end of the play.
And you're not supposed to get hit when they bring a 3-man rush. Just a 3-man rush that time, and the Bears offensive linemen allow their quarterback to get hit. They spy with Stephen Nicholas inside, and they run the stunt, and Babineau almost gets there.
3rd and 25.
Chris Williams never saw him coming.
Again, a 3-man rush. 8 back. The pass caught just shy of the 1st down by Earl Bennett. And that's going to make it 4th down and 1 at the 5-yard line. Cutler trying to save that timeout. Obviously, you can't spike it. You have to run a play or call a timeout here.
Yeah, you've got to call timeout here.
And they do. Too important. So Cutler calls for a timeout. He had to wait to see exactly how far they had gotten. 24 yards when they needed 25. And so 4th and 1 coming up now.
Al, I love this play by Earl Bennett. You know you're going to get drilled. This is just throw it up and let me get destroyed and make the play. And he just has the guts to go up there and go get this one. Everybody in the crowd, he wraps everything he has around the football and gives the Bears a chance. Well, you talk about strong-arm quarterbacks. He zipped that one in there.
And Eric Coleman at the end of the play able to save the 1st down, stopping him a yard shy. 34 seconds left. No timeouts left.
Now, do you trust your running game? You have struggled to get it in, had more success throwing it. Jay Cutler's the man. I think they're throwing it here.
I do too. I throw it. Oh no! On the left side on a 4th and 1. Orlando Pace.
Offense number 76. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
One of the great players in league history, Orlando Pace.
And nothing he could do. 4th and 6. Ton of red zone mistakes for the Bears tonight.
All right, they have trips right again. If this safety moves this way, they'll go backside to that one more time.
Have to get to the 4 for a 1st down from just inside the 10. Cutler throws, and that pass is incomplete, intended for Desmond Clark. No flags, and they've held him again. A little bit of self-destruction.
Yeah, he tries to get it into the big guy, Desmond Clark, coming around here, but he really didn't have time to hold it and let it develop it. You could see they tried to get the pick, and really on that play, Greg Olsen should have done a better job picking the guy over Clark. He goes up the field, and it was a pick play all the way. You end up with a defensive lineman, Jamal Anderson, in a zone drop that ended up falling right back underneath the play. Great call that time by Brian Van Gorder, the defensive coordinator, dropping that zone drop Jamal Anderson right underneath it, and that was the difference.
And a kneel down to end it, and Mike Smith's team goes to 4 and 1. Stay a game back of the New Orleans Saints, who they will meet in a couple of weeks. Atlanta heading off to Dallas and New Orleans over the next couple of weeks. And Lovie Smith congratulating Mike Smith as the Bears get ready to head to Cincinnati next Sunday.